Okay, so Times Square is like the heart of Manhattan. Like Venom just doing this in the middle of Manhattan.
Sad thing is, he'll probably get his own
And
touch.
we've already had Daredevil appear. This is a Marvel universe where it's not just like the movie Spider-Man, where it's just like only Spider-Man, or like the movie Daredevil is only Daredevil. It's like, no, this is a Marvel universe where other superheroes exist. We've seen Daredevil, the Fantastic Four building was in the start. And it's like, Venom's doing this on like the main screen in Times Square, the heart of Manhattan. Nobody else is going to do anything about this. Like, surely, like somebody else is going to see this.
I realize what this means. Forget about helping me with Omnitech. I can handle Rhino.
Rhino by yourself? Thanks, Cat, but no thanks. Look, being Spider-Man has given me a lot. And
That might sound kind of condescending to Black Cat. Like, nobody generally takes Rhino seriously. Like, yeah, he's a big idiot, blah blah blah. You know, he's just a brute. There was actually one Spider-Man comic I read that was really good. That basically it started with Spider-Man getting the crap kicked out of him by Rhino. And like Spider-Man doesn't win. He gets the crap kicked out of him. There's a monologue about how Rhino was one of those villains that terrifies him just because of what he's physically capable of. Yeah, like, because like it's a really well drawn comic, really emphasizes the physicality of Rhino, which is, you know, it's impressive. And Rhino's huge, and like just physically destroys Spider-Man. Escapes, and then like the rest of the comic isn't Spidey getting back at Rhino. The rest of the comic is Spider-Man being told by a doctor to straight up stop and take some time to recover. And then eventually the Avengers take down Rhino. And it's like, it's one of the only times I've ever seen Rhino taken seriously in a more modern setting. Which is interesting. Like, nobody really takes Rhino seriously because he's a big idiot. But you don't have to be a genius to hurt people. I need to be careful with these jumps.
Hey, that is expensive equipment.
So this is a very standard superhero boss fight. Just jump out of the way when the big guy runs at you. So ideally you want him to break all of these first because they'll do more damage to him.
Get a charge out of that? Look at you, all lit up.
It's like, we're playing on normal mode though, so getting him to break all four of these won't actually take him down. He'll still have some health left. I do like the way the icon changes when he's taking damage though, that's great. But yeah, it's like, it's one of the things that you just don't really get with a character like Rhino. The focus is always on how he's an idiot. Come on. There we go. And the focus is always on how he's an idiot, and that means he's not as much of a threat as someone like Doc Ock or the Green Goblin. Well, it's like I said, you don't have to be a genius to hurt people and to cause damage.
Doc Ock helping the police? Maybe he is reformed. Ock's taking care of Rhino. I need to find out what happened to Black Cat. This is a job for Peter Parker, not Spider-Man. Hey, wait! Cat! Cat, it's Peter!
Peter, gotta help me. You're not really paramedic.
Those are some of the most trustworthy paramedics I've ever seen. And also tentacles in the front of the ambulance. I'm sure she'll be fine. She'll probably get the help she needs. everything's gonna be okay. God, the 90s were a weird time for Venom.
Well, that's my story, Johnny.
Looks like you're in a lot of trouble. You'll find Venom.
But how? Venom is invisible to my spider sense.
Knowing your luck, Venom will find you. Have faith, Spidey.
Well, thanks, Human Torch.
Where could she be?
Yeah, like the 90s were a weird time for Venom. He turned up in the 80s and had the whole smiling, the whole grin thing going on. But they were normal teeth, they weren't the huge pointed fangs that the Venom has these days, or the tongue. To be honest, it was probably creepier like that. But then the 90s, like, did the whole tongue and the pointed teeth, and it looked more intimidating, I guess. Not as creepy, but more intimidating. And he's stuck with that ever since. So this is a standard chase level. The meter on the top shows us how far we are from Venom. We can't let him get too far or we lose him. Iron Man reference there. It is nice to go back to a time when, like, Marvel is like really focused on the movies these days,
Gotta keep up.
and like pretty much any mention, appearance, or reference or to characters is a reference to like the movie versions. So you can always see it in characters like Iron Man. Iron Man's armor these days, whenever you see it, is always the movie armor, not the comic armor. And there was a whole thing Marvel had for a little while where they just weren't like X-Men characters in anything, or Fantastic Four characters. There's like, oh hey, not only does Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite have a smaller roster than, like, it's not just Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I think it had a smaller roster than standard Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Like, not only does it have a smaller roster, but it has a much weaker Marvel roster. It's like they did a thing with the press release earlier on. It was like, yeah, Magneto. People love Magneto for the way he was able to move so fluidly, and we've applied that movement to another character because that's what people were after. Completely missing the point that, you know, maybe people are playing a crossover game for the crossovers and the characters. I mean, in particular, like, when I play fighting games, I'm not after particularly characters that are good. I'm after a character that I like. And, like, as far as Marvel goes, you have to really figure, like, there's a reason the trope is called Wolverine publicity. It's because people love Wolverine. And, like, taking out Doctor Doom, like, Doctor Doom is, like, huge, but no, he's Fantastic Four related, so they took him out.
Spider-Wars, come out and play!
I do love how ridiculous Venom is in this game. It's like he starts off menacing, but like very quickly, once we actually see more of him, he is just ridiculous. He's very silly.
Come back here, Venom.
He can also teleport,
Where are you?
weirdly. I do not like this boss fight, honestly. It's just really awkward to pull off. He teleports all over the place, and then sometimes he'll just grab you and stop you from doing anything. And if you're too far away from him when he appears, like, he'll grab you and like, do an unblockable hit on you. But we got through that without getting hit once. That was actually really good. I'm happy with that. How deep does this sewer go? So I will say we have actually changed out of the Captain Universe costume. Changed out of that before the Rhino fight. You can see we took damage in the spidey-armor. We just haven't taken enough to lose the spidey-armor yet, so you've not been able to see what costume we've got on under it.
Where's my wife, you symbiote freak?
We're going to be introduced to some new enemies here, which
Run, Venom.
I don't
Can't
like.
hide.
Lizard men. I don't like the lizard men. Well, that worked. Now, the web swing in this game is this is like the first 3D Spider-Man game. It's very basic, as you'd expect, like just point A to point B, jump, do the web swing button, A to B.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's
Am I
functional.
late for the party?
It wasn't until Spider-Man 2 where they actually got creative with it. But to be fair, this game isn't set in environments that would allow you to be creative with it. Yeah, we were in the symbiote suit. Like, ever since the Rhino fight, we've been in the symbiote suit.
Open this door.
Who is it?
So, something a lot of people either tend to forget or just aren't aware of is, like, it's like, it's fairly common knowledge that the symbiote suit... Oh no, that was not fair. That wasn't fair at all. I just slipped right off there when I was supposed to land on it. There's nothing I could have done. Alright, that went better. See, the symbiote suit has the unlimited webbing, which makes sense. The symbiote suit generated organic webbing.
I should probably swing for the next pipes using my L1 targeting mode.
Okay, so make a move. Yeah, like a lot of people probably forget or just outright don't know. Like, general knowledge that the symbiote suit comes from the Secret Wars. Spidey found it in the Secret Wars. The Secret Wars itself is like a real mess of a story. It's interesting, it's fairly entertaining as crossovers go, but like, yeah, it's kind of messy. But like, after Spidey found out the suit was alive and was actually taking his body for joyrides at night, which is why Spidey was exhausted a lot around the time. Went to Reed Richards. Went to Reed Richards, got his help in figuring out what was going on, then got the suit off him. Then the suit escaped, bonded to him again. Spidey went to a church, got it off with church bells ringing. But then for like a good while, because it was a while after Spidey got rid of the symbiote suit before Venom appeared. And like for pretty much all that time, Spidey was still wearing the black suit, but like a cloth, like a proper normal clothed version of it. It was fabric. It was. It wasn't a symbiote anymore. It was just the same style of suit. It looked the same, but wasn't a symbiote. It was like a normal suit. And like Spidey's first confrontation with Venom actually occurs with him in the black suit and Venom in the symbiote suit, which is really interesting. And like the reason Spidey got rid of the black suit, because like Venom's first appearance, like first full appearance, is Now, Venom's first full appearance is Mary Jane comes home. It's like Peter Parker and Mary Jane are married by this point. Mary Jane comes home, sees the silhouette of the suit, like the suit Spidey's still wearing at the time, thinks it's Spidey, but then like the face grows teeth and a smile, like this big grin. You know, like Venom doesn't do anything. Spider-Man gets home, finds that Mary Jane's terrified. Get rid of you. The camera shifting like that does not help me try to stay on the train. Do this again. And again. Yeah, Venom just like shows up, terrorizes her a little, disappears before Spidey comes home. Spidey finds her terrified. Like the story ends with Venom being defeated for the first time. And like Mary Jane just outright says to Peter, like, get rid of the suit. There's no way she can be comfortable with it. And that's when Spidey goes back to his original suit. Like, Spidey had this suit for years, which was really interesting. Like, after the symbiote was gone, everybody thinks this is like the symbiote suit. But it probably spent longer for Spidey as like just a normal suit. It's just that, you know, now it's tied to Venom. It came back though with the Back in Black. Yeah, the Back in Black storyline, which was, I thought, really good. Like during the Civil War, which was... Oh no, no. Like, definitely taking advantage of this unlimited webbing. Because, like, the web dome costs, like, half a web cartridge to use. So, definitely take advantage of this. Okay. So, during the Civil War, like, Spidey revealed his identity. Because he was on the registration side to begin with. And Spidey reveals his identity to the world, but then sees just what the super registration side is doing, which, you know, includes stuff like the Thunderbolt, which was a team of supervillains, basically. It was like Suicide Squad. It's a team of supervillains that are basically given lighter sentencing in exchange for like working as part of this team that were supposed to bring in unregistered superhumans.
Where am I now?
So like, that was a big thing, and there was the prisons for the unregistered superhumans in the negative zone, which was a mess. Spidey finds all this out, and like Spidey's a good person at heart. He's like, you know, no, I can't support this. So straight up leaves, becomes a fugitive. But like the world knows who Spider-Man is, so you know that's an issue. And like he's hiding out with Mary Jane and Aunt May at a motel because, like, you know, the world knows who he is. They're a target. And like there's a bounty on pretty much any unlawful superhuman, which at this point includes Spidey because of that. And I had at a motel, Aunt May gets shot by a sniper. And Spidey goes berserk at this whole thing. Like puts the black suit back on. That's the whole reason it's called Back in Black. The black suit comes back to like symbolise that Spidey is just done with all the crap at this point. That's good. Like, yeah, it's a more brutal Spider-Man. And it ends really well with Spidey finding out that Kingpin ordered the hit on Aunt May. At this point, like, Kingpin's in jail. There we go. Like, Kingpin's in jail, and Kingpin's done this from jail. Where he basically runs the jail. It's just, yeah, he's just in jail, but runs the place pretty much. Spidey gets into the jail. Kingpin's totally ready for him. And, like, Spidey's had trouble with Kingpin in the past. Kingpin's like one of Spidey's toughest non-superhuman enemies. Because, like, Kingpin's get off. Like, Kingpin's really fat, but the fat is actually really all muscle. It's one of those comic book things that's just weird. Like, yeah, previously, like, Kingpin's given Spidey trouble for years in fights. And so he's expecting, like, a fight with Spidey. He's all dressed up in his standard suit. Like, Kingpin's dressed up in his suit, not Spidey. Expecting, like, proper fight. Spidey just shows up in the prison and, like, takes down Kingpin in one punch. And it's brutal, and it's great. Because, like, Spidey, the whole thing with Spidey's always been, like, he pulls his punches because if he didn't, he'd punch through somebody. It's like, you see the thing Spidey can do, like, every now and then when he's actually lifting something that's really heavy, you realise how much strength he actually has. And, like, you have to realise, like, what that translates to in terms of, like, physical strength. Like, Spidey, if he needs to, Spidey could tear through, like, a lot of the superheroes you might consider stronger than him. And it's not that they're stronger than him, it's that he generally holds back more. It was a really good show, and then Kingpin's humiliated in front of everybody, and Spidey's like, if Aunt May dies in hospital, you die. Although the whole Aunt May thing at this point is just ridiculous. Like, for the love of God, she's... like, since the 60s, she's been of frail health. It's like, you can look at the early Spider-Man comics, and Spidey's like, I can't tell Aunt May that I'm Spider-Man because the shock could kill her. And here we are, like, you know, decades later, in not just real life, but in story time. Like, in terms of story time, like, Spidey's got to be, like, you know, at least, like, probably 15 years older than he was when he first became Spider-Man. Oh, that was close. It's like the whole one more day thing. It's like, oh, Aunt May is about to die. Nobody can help. Nobody can help her, and, like, you know, maybe it's just her time. So Spidey goes to the devil and sells his marriage. Like, straight up goes to Mephisto, sells his marriage to save Aunt May, and it is ridiculous. And it's one of the stupidest Spidey storylines ever. It's like the Clone Saga, as much flack as that gets, rightfully, because it had a lot of problems, but, like, the Clone Saga had Aunt May die at one point, and it was really well handled. She went peacefully in hospital. She told Peter that she knew he was Spider-Man, and went peacefully, and it was really good. And it was a very touching moment. But in the whole mess that the Clone Saga was, it was retconned that Aunt May was a genetically altered actress that Norman Osborn had sent while the real Aunt May had been kidnapped by Osborn, and yeah, I just ruined it.
I'm already at full health.
Yeah. Speaking of the of like heroes holding back and then not holding back anymore, Thor had a really great example like after Civil War, because Thor was gone for I think most, if not all, of Civil War, like not the movie, the actual event in the comic. So like gone for most of, if not all, and it was a really weird thing. Like Tony Stark became completely unlikable during Civil War.
Chain won't last much longer.
And he had the idea, like, you know, Thor on his side, because it was Iron Man on pro-registration, Captain America on anti-registration. And, like, he had this idea, like, Thor on his side would be, like, a really big morale boost. But Thor wasn't there. So, like, they made this clone, kind of Thor, that had, like, all of Thor's strength, but never held back like Thor did. And it went crazy and caused a lot of chaos. And then Thor gets back, like, after Civil War. And Thor gets back. And just goes crazy at Iron Man, rightfully. Like, because of this whole thing. And, like, Tony thinks he's got a chance against Thor. He's like, yeah, you know, we've fought before. And Thor's like, yeah, the difference is I was holding back then, and just bashes, like, just bonk with Mjolnir straight into Iron Man's chest, and Iron Man goes across states. Like, yeah, I think it actually does knock Iron Man across states, which was awesome and definitely cathartic after Civil War. So we're actually in the Spidey Unlimited suit, which invisibility. If you press L2, Spidey Unlimited was actually a cartoon in the late 90s, which had Rhino Romano as Spider-Man. It was really weird. Spider-Man went to this alternate Earth chasing after Venom, and then, like, it wasn't in New York. It was this whole weird thing. It lasted for, like, one season. I don't think anybody really liked it. We got this costume out of it, which is kind of neat. Like, invisible. Doesn't work on bosses, so it isn't going to mean anything for Venom. That's not nice. Oh, come on. Is this going to mean me dead now because Venom was just being a pain? Yep. This is just something Venom does in this level. He'll pop up and cause trouble. And if you try and run away, well, let's try and find out, shall we? Oh, he actually disappeared there. Possibly because he couldn't get us, but like, you try and run away, he'll grab you. Like, hit you with a web, drag you in, punch, and that's just not great. See, like, Spidey Unlimited wasn't particularly good. We got this costume out of it, which I don't think has appeared in anything else. The sequel, Enter Electro, has all the costumes from this game, and I think that is the last time this costume appeared. As many costumes as Spider-Man PS4 had, it didn't have this one.
Starting to sweat here, Parker.
So see what happens when we try and run past Venom this time. Oh, he disappeared again. Alright, let's just keep doing that then. I think this is the way we need to go. Yeah, it is.
Lizard,
imprisoned me and has taken my lair. Now he's using my lizard men against you.
No.
He's also imprisoned that Parker woman.
Where is she?
She's in the lair at the end of the maze. There's only one way to get there. Go back along this tunnel and cross over 2 waterways. At the 3rd waterway, go right. Follow it around the corners, past the machinery, skip the first tunnel intersection, then go right at the next one. You will find the woman there.
I hope you were paying attention to that. Because like, it won't be. I don't think he'll repeat it, but there's no reminder of what he said here. But there's been some like weird cartoons that a lot of people forget, like the new animated Spider-Man series, which was actually like supposed to be a sequel to the movie, which was interesting. I think that's the one that had Neil Patrick Harris as Spider-Man. Wasn't actually that bad. But then like the second movie came out, and like the entire thing was rendered non-canon, which, yeah, it's not overly surprising.
You're on fire, baby.
The Spectacular Spider-Man was, I think the next cartoon after that was pretty solid. Around for 2 seasons. It was really good. Uh-oh. Oh. Went in the wrong one, apparently. Should have been paying more attention. There we go.
My. Send the spider to the smaller spider.